Hi, welcome back to the Radio Podcast. My name's Devin. I'm joined by Austin.
Hello.
And Jeff.
Hi.
And Lily.
Also my dog, who's just started barking.
Special guest, Lily.
So, let's just restart.
No, we're going to keep rolling.
Okay.
We're just going to keep going. Handle the dog.
Just put her in your lap.
I'm just trying to get this show to be more real.
So now she's in my lap, so if she starts barking again, it'll be louder. So no F1 week, or this week, but the Formula E race that I wanted to talk about is up on YouTube, and also there is the Super Formula race that I mentioned last week that I also want to talk about. So I'm going to start with Formula E, since that's kind of what we ended on last time. You guys both watched this race as well.
I did.
I did indeed.
Round 12 of the Formula E season, and again, this race is just up on YouTube, so I would recommend watching it before you hear us talk about it.
Why do all the championship leaders start from the back?
Because they didn't qualify well enough.
Why do they consistently not qualify well?
Because of how qualifying is, the way I explained it last time. So during qualifying, the championship leaders go out first.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And so the track evolves, and so the slower cars get the evolved track to work on. So they have to put in a really good lap if they want to start well.
How come the on-screen graphics are still bad?
They're okay. I like the way the positions move.
I like them.
I don't.
Oh.
Because
Well, you're
it
wrong.
takes too long.
I like them.
Oh, right. An F1 is so fast.
No, like the way that the Formula E moves down, and they delete one and move one down and flash a new one in. It's like, yo, just fucking flip them.
I like it.
Also, how come they do this thing? I'm just going to bitch about this stuff up front before you start talking about the race. They do this thing with the onboard camera. When they're going down the straight, they zoom the camera in.
To give you a sense of speed.
That's exactly what it is the cars are slow. So they zoom the camera.
The camera is very barely just tightens up as they go faster.
Oh, man.
I think that's a fun thing.
I thought that the cameras were I noticed what looked like the camera jostling because parts of the car would suddenly no longer be in frame, and so I thought it was these are just poorly affixed, but what you're saying now makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, how come the quality's so bad?
What?
On some of the onboard shots.
Because they broke the cameras.
Okay.
Some of the cameras legitimately were broken
it is
in this
bumper
race.
cars. All right, proceed.
Yep. So this is the penultimate race of the season that we're going to talk about today because it was the more exciting of the two. So going into this race, Jean-Eric Vergne has 130 points, and I want to say there's 5 or 6 other drivers that mathematically can fight him for the title, but he's got a pretty healthy advantage here. With 2 races left, there's a maximum of 58 points available. Is that right? Yeah, 58 points available to get because there's 25 for a win, 3 for pole position, and 1 for fastest lap. So mathematically, Jev hasn't won yet, but he's got a pretty good lead. So P2 is Lucas Degrassi with 98 points, then Mitch Evans with 87, Robin Frenz with 81, and Sebastian Buemi is kind of the outside, has barely a chance, but still technically could, with 76 points. And then Buemi gets pole position, which helps him out just that little bit. So Buemi's on pole position here. P2 is Verline, P3 Alex Lynn, and then our other championship fighters are Robin Frenz in P9, Jean-Eric Vergne starting P10, Mitch Evans starting P13, and Lucas Degrassi P14. So all those guys need to make up as many spots as they can. Ideally, all the championship contenders want to win this race and have Jean-Eric Vergne not finish, or at least not finish in the top 10. So race starts, and Jean-Eric Vergne and Lucas di Grassi both immediately lose a couple of places in the start shuffle. Vergne falls back to P13, di Grassi falls back to P16. And then with 2 minutes into this race, Sam Bird hits one of the Dragon cars, who hits the other Dragon car, and then this causes a pretty big pileup where Jean-Eric Vergne bumps into the back of somebody. Andre Lauderer comes in and hits Jean-Eric Vergne, gives him a puncture, and also spins himself into a wall. So Jean-Eric Vergne now has a puncture, as I just said, and has to go in and pit, and he also needs a new nose. And meanwhile, Andre Lauderer's car is just falling apart all over the place. Like, its fenders are coming off.
This car was in a bad way.
Like, front wing broke off and, like, got trapped underneath the car and just, like, throwing bits of it all over the track. And they never really come pick this stuff up. Like, in F1, this definitely would have brought a safety car out to pick up all this debris.
Yeah.
But it does not here, which is wild to see. So after that, di Grassi's now back up to his starting position of P14, and Jean-Eric Vergne has fallen all the way to P21 because he had to pit. With 33 minutes into the race, di Grassi's worked his way up a bit further. He's in P11 now, where Jean-Eric Vergne is now 19th, hasn't really made much progress. Up at the front, Buemi, Lynn, Sims, and Apt are all staying pretty tight, fighting for the top 4 in that order. So Buemi doing a good job to hold on to his lead, because he most of all needs to win this race if he wants to have a chance in the championship. 31 minutes to go. Di Grassi gets Robin Friends for P10. And then lap 22 is the next excitement of the race, as Alex Lynn from P2 has some problem and has to just pull off and stop his car, which causes the safety car to come out. So now we've got Buemi P1, Mitch Evans is up to P6, di Grassi's now P9, Jev is P17, and Robin Friends has retired for some reason. Not actually clear on. Worth noting here also that Bird, who's ahead of di Grassi, got a 10-second penalty for running into those Dragons. So di Grassi is now, because of the safety car, within 10 seconds of him. So that is essentially going to give di Grassi another spot that he so desperately needs. With 16 minutes to go, the safety car comes in, and Jean-Eric Vergne immediately gets the car ahead of him, gets him one step closer to actually getting some points. Meanwhile, Daniel Apt gets passed by someone I didn't even write who, but he gets passed, but because of how tightly bunched up they are, him getting passed allows a train of cars to go past him. And from P3, he falls all the way to P9, so I guess that would be Mitch Evans who passed him. But di Grassi also gets past Apt here. So all the way from P4 to P9, get past Daniel Apt there. He really, really took it. But that's one more spot for di Grassi, which is good. With 12 minutes to go, Jerome D'Ambrosio pushes Gary Paffett wide and allows Jean-Eric Vergne to get past both of them up to P14. So from having to pit on lap 1 and looking terrible, Jean-Eric Vergne's looking almost like he might make it into the points now.
That safety car saved his ass.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yep.
And then with 10 minutes to go, Mitch Evans makes a very late dive on Sims, who's ahead of him in P2, takes that, and at the same time, di Grassi and Apt both get past Max Gunther, which puts di Grassi up in P7. And again, Sam Bird has that 10-second penalty ahead of him, so di Grassi is now effectively in P6, which, considering he started P14, is a very good result for him if he can keep this or even get further on. The next minute, Degrassi and Apt both get past Verline, which puts Degrassi in P6. And meanwhile, Roland and Mortara make contact and hit each other. Roland goes into the wall and leaves some bits all over the ground, but doesn't bring out a safety car or anything. But both of those cars were ahead of Jean-Eric Verne, which now puts him up to P11, just outside of the points.
Thanks, Lily, for the extra commentary. Hey, that is one thing I forgot to mention at the top, too. They just leave the debris all over the track. They're just yeah, whatever. There was a wing and a fender and all kinds of shit just laying around.
Yeah, that was really weird. I feel like they normally don't do that, but the field is kind of... There's hardly ever very big gaps, so they can't just run out and grab stuff without safety cars. But they still do normally just do a full course yellow and pick it up, especially the big stuff. I don't know why they didn't this time. It was really weird. With 3 minutes left in this race, Jean-Eric Verne gets past Stoffel Van Dorn for P10, and Jev now has a point for being P10, but he also at this point has the fastest lap, which gives him another point. And you have to be in the top 10 to actually get the fastest lap point. So by making it up into P10, he's now got himself 2 points, which makes his lead just ever harder for him to actually lose. With a minute and a half left, Degrassi gets past Sam Bird, which is kind of meaningless because the penalty was going to put him past anyway, but it allows him to go now try and fight for P4. And then last lap of the race, Jean-Eric Verne and Massa collide. Jean-Eric Verne's going on the inside to pass, and Massa just completely closes the door, and Jean-Eric Verne basically T-bones him. And that causes a huge pile up, and Jerome D'Ambrosio comes in and drives over the top of Massa and Jean-Eric Verne.
Yeah, man, it was like monster trucks.
Yeah, it was real wild, and that ruins those points I just mentioned for Jean-Eric Verne. He finishes P14 after this. So we have Buemi wins the race, Mitch Evans P2, Antonio Felix da Costa got past his teammate Sims and is in P3, and then Degrassi's P5, and again, Jean-Eric Verne, P14. So no points for Verne, which is the ideal scenario for everybody else. So we now have Jev with 130, Degrassi with 108, Evans with 105, and Buemi 104. So Buemi, to win the championship, has to get pole position and the win on Sunday, and unfortunately he can't do either. And Evans can't win the race, and Degrassi, he doesn't win the race either. And so, without getting into too much what happened in Sunday's race, that one's pretty good as well, but not as good as this one. Jean-Eric Verne gets the title and becomes the first two-time Formula E champ, and Techeetah gets their first team championship.
Good job.
It was looking real rough for Techeetah there.
Yeah, because I don't think Lauderer finished either race, and Jev didn't do great on the Sunday race. So it's just if Audi had just pulled it together to get enough points, they could have got him. Which is what happened last year. Audi in New York took the team championship from Techeetah. But yeah,
so yet another season of the championship coming down to the last race.
Yeah, which I think it has every year.
4 out of 5. They said that.
That's pretty good.
I remember that.
This is also Buemi's first win of the year, which is kind of wild. And also, I think I'd have to look, but I want to say we ended up with 10 different winners in the 13 races this season. Which
yes, that sounds right. I remember hearing that during the race.
Which
12.
is bonkers.
Also, Buemi's win was the first win for Nissan?
Yes. Yeah, because this is Nissan's first year. replacing Renault. And yeah, I don't think Buemi won a single race last year either, which was kind of crazy considering he's former champion and Renault won the first 3 seasons team championships. But yeah, and then after the Sunday race that closes out the Formula E season, and I just kind of wrapping up all of Formula E that I watched this year because this is the first full season I've watched. I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to watch again next season. Curious now, there's a lot of drivers that aren't signed yet for next year. Like, there's a lot of vacancies. So now in the coming weeks and months, just got to sit and wait and look and see who gets signed where. I think all your big names are signed to stay where they're at their teams. So your Buemi, your Jev, but yeah.
That's me. I'm signed.
No.
Oh.
No. Man, they should let Bob Varsha talk more.
Oh, is he there?
Yeah, he's there. You didn't even notice.
I don't know what the fuck Bob Varsha sounds like. He's the
He
Olympics
sounds
guy,
American.
right?
Yeah. A lead commentator guy needs to chill just a little bit. He's like the French dude from F2.
I like him a lot.
He's just
I like both of them a lot.
Got a little bit too much energy. Just take it back about 20%.
Yeah, can't remember what his name is, but yeah, it's that guy, and then the secondary commentator is Dario Franchitti.
Yeah.
And then we've also got Bob Varsha chiming in very occasionally.
Dude's just there to get a check.
At this point, yeah. But it was good. It's weird, and I don't care for the score or the position pylon thing. The graphics. I wish that was like a little bit less flashy and more just here's the info. But aside from that, I mean, there was lots of action.
Yeah. And that's the Formula E promise. There's
Yeah, those cars
normally
just-
lots of action.
There's no runoff, so they just crunch.
Yep.
Yeah, most of the sound is just like just crunching.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good, satisfying crunch sound to them.
I wouldn't call it satisfying. I'm just like, ugh, like, it's basically sports car racing though.
Without engines.
Yes, but like with the same amount of contact.
With cars that aren't meant to take it.
I think that these cars are kind of meant to take it.
I feel like the sports cars can take a little bit more, but...
Oh, yeah. But these are certainly more resilient than, like, an F1 car.
Oh, yeah, it's because it's
Absolutely.
fast.
But even like the suspension and stuff is stronger. Like there was a shot, I can't remember if it was the Saturday race or the Sunday race, where like both tie rod ends on both sides of the front end of somebody's car were like bent down. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember seeing
yeah,
that.
that doesn't happen in F1. Like they
No, it just explodes.
yeah. So, yeah, I watched all of the Saturday race and like 30 minutes of the Sunday race. I have 15 minutes left in that second race.
I watched all of the Saturday race, and then I watched enough of the Sunday race to find out who won. What happened? What happened to Buemi? Because I feel like in the Saturday race they were like, "Oh, he is the person that's in the number 2 spot. He has the best chance of beating Verne," and then they just didn't talk about him having.
He didn't qualify on pole for the Sunday race,
He
Yeah.
qualified higher,
so he was mathematically out of it.
but
Yeah.
he was in the second spot. So why were they still talking about the other guys?
No, Buemi's in 4th.
Oh, I thought he was in P2 after
No,
Saturday's
he was
race.
in 4th. Not by much. So Degrassi had 108, Buemi had 104. So Buemi was 26 points shy of Jev, so he needed to get at least 26, which means he had to get 28. So he had to get pole and the win.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Because if he'd got the win and fastest lap, he would have got 26 and tied him. But then Jev would have beat him on
Tiebreaker.
on the tiebreaker, which is wins, because Jev won 3 races.
Neat.
So yeah. And then the other race I wanted to talk about, Super Formula. So this race was incredibly wet the entire time in a way that was pretty fun because they were still like good and racy in a way that you like to see. But it would often just like cut to a shot of just like the track and it's just like nothing but white, just like a mist. And it's just like, oh, okay, I can't actually see anything here, but eventually I'm sure a car will come into frame. So the main story going into this, so this is round 4 at Fuji, which is in the Shizuoka prefecture. So Austin mentioned this before. I think I probably mentioned it last week as well. Again, Dan Ticktum is out at Super Formula, and he's been replaced by Patricio O'Ward, who spun out in wet qualifying and is starting dead last. But that was his first day in that car. Like first day to ever be in that car, and it was wet. So it's hard to blame him too much for that. But yeah, so starting on pole is Alex Palou, P2 Sho Tsuboi, P3 Yuhi Sekiguchi, Nick Cassidy's back in P5. Championship leader and current champion Naoki Yamamoto is in P9. Kaz Nakajima P10. The other Red Bull Junior, Lucas Auer, starting P15. Harrison Nui, P16. Artem Markelov, P17. Kamui Kobayashi, former F1 driver and fan favorite, starting P19. And then Award, P20. So the conditions are so wet that they start under a safety car. And the safety car comes in on lap 4, so that's when the race actually starts. It's a 55-lap race. And Nick Cassidy immediately is fighting for P4 and gets it done before the end of the first lap. Nick Cassidy looking pretty strong in the rain, which is exciting to see. I don't know if New Zealand gets a lot of rain, like the way Britain does. The commentators seemed to imply that was true, but I don't know if they're right.
What did you say?
New Zealand?
Why are you talking about New Zealand?
Nick Cassidy. He's a New Zealander.
Oh, yeah. New Zealand gets some rain.
Yeah. But he's looking good in the rain. And I haven't... Well, I guess I have seen him do some wet races, but this is maybe the most impressive I've seen him look in the rain. I don't know. It's kind of muttering a bit now. The conditions are very tricky, as I said. It's raining pretty good and like consistently for the entire race. There's tons and tons of spray. It's really hard to start. Kobayashi gets a really good start, and in the first 2 laps picks up 4 places. Around laps 8 and 9, there's a really good fight between Lucas Auer and Harrison Nui for P15. And Kobayashi is continuing to look pretty strong. So in addition to the 4 places he got in the first 2 laps, he makes up another 2 and is up to P13 by lap 11. Is that 2 or is that 1? Anyway, Kobayashi already gained 6 spots. That is 2. That is 2. Anyway, Markelov breaks off his front wing on lap 13, continuing to look not like he should be going to F1 anytime soon. Markelov, second only to Dan Ticktum for most disappointing driver that I've seen this season of Super Formula.
Rude.
And that same lap, Kobayashi picks up another place and is now in P12. And now I've just got a quote written down from the commentators. Sho Tsuboi with that very cool Atasha rear wing on that car. Painfully embarrassing is the translation for that. Painfully embarrassing rear wing with the anime-style figures on it. Which is fun. It's fun for me every time they talk about Atasha liveries. It's like the Hatsune Miku car is an Atasha livery as well. Which,
like, is that what they're actually called, or that's just
Yep.
what the commentators are saying?
That is what they're called. when you got anime girls on your car, it's painfully embarrassing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lap 15, something happened to Auer, but not sure what exactly. It never got shown on camera. He's back to P19 now, and is holding up Shotsuboi, who is P2, trying to lap him. Meanwhile, Pelu out front is putting on a pretty good show as well, and has built a 10-second gap to Shotsuboi by lap 17. Lap 18, Naoki Yamamoto spins after getting one of his tires up on the curb slightly and falls all the way back to P12. Well, not all the way back. I think he was, P9? Yeah, he was P9. So he only loses 3 spots there, but it's surprising to see Naoki Yamamoto spin. And that gives Kobayashi another spot, and he's up to P11 now. Markelov, meanwhile, spins again and remains last. And O'Ward has made himself up 5 places in all of this. Due in part to Markelov's fucking up. But nice to see him actually fighting his way through the field a little bit instead of just staying dead last. Because, again, this is his first weekend in the car. By lap 19, Kobayashi's now fighting, trying to take P10. Again, only the top 8 positions get points, so 10th place, not a point, but gets him ever closer. Lap 22, Kaz Nakajima gets P8 from Makino, who then runs wide, and then Kobayashi and Fukuzumi both get past him as well. So it's another spot for Kobayashi. And now we get Kobayashi fighting Fukuzumi for several laps here, trying to get P8 from him. And that is very good to see. And also, at this point, Kobayashi's picked up 10 places from where he started.
Nice.
Just a hell of a race from Kamui Kobayashi. Then found out a fun fact that I didn't know.
I love fun facts.
Due to the commentators, Kaz Nakajima's dad, Satoru Nakajima, raced for Lotus F1 in the 80s and owns the team of Alex Palou and Makino, and is traditionally a Honda guy, which is weird because his son is very much a Toyota guy. But Kaz Nakajima's dad is a 5-time champ of the Super Formula equivalent of its time, which, as good as Kaz Nakajima is, I was surprised to hear his dad was apparently just as good or even better. Like,
it sounds like he's better.
Champion, yeah, is quite a lot. So due to these wet conditions, they're not under the rule obligation to pit. So the teams are initially looking to go the full distance, but by lap 29, some of them seem like their tires are going off and they might need to pit. And also some of them maybe weren't expecting the conditions to be this wet and didn't fuel enough. But by the rules, they don't technically have to pit. By lap 32, the rain starts coming down noticeably heavier.
That's saying something.
Yeah, because it was already pretty rough, but then, yeah, it definitely picks up. And Kaz Nakajima gets past Oshima for P7, and Kobayashi is still trying to get Fukuzumi for P... I have 9 written here, but I thought it was 8. I guess it is 9. But, yeah, this is 10 laps later of Kobayashi trying to fight past Fukuzumi. Lap 34, Fukuzumi gets past Oshima for P8, but Oshima takes it back because Fukuzumi makes an error pretty quickly. And then lap 35, Kobayashi finally gets Fukuzumi after about 15 laps now of them fighting. And then also 2 laps later gets past Oshima from P8 for P8, and also that puts him in the points. Meanwhile, Kaz Nakajima is in 7th place, 9 seconds further up the road from Kobayashi. Similar to F1, Super Formula has a maximum race time of 90 minutes. And so at lap 39, the timer is now showing 23 minutes left. So with the lap times being about a minute 45, the race is looking to run out by time before it runs out of laps. And then, another fun fact from the commentators, apparently Fuji was originally designed to be a NASCAR oval.
What?
Which I don't
Actually,
know.
What?
I have a vague recollection, and I mean a vague recollection of hearing about NASCAR racing in Japan as a kid.
You know, when you say the words out loud, I feel like I have a similar recollection, but it could just be something made up. I mean, they go play American football in England like once a year, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like that.
Yeah, maybe.
I think maybe this actually happened. Keep talking. I'm going to do some research.
But they actually didn't end up doing that, as Sterling Moss convinced them to instead make it a road course after they built the first bank turn. So it's got one bank turn, and then the rest of it is just normal. Which, interesting, because, yeah, I don't put NASCAR and Super Formula in Japan together in my mind.
By the time you've made one bank turn, you've probably made just about all the others, and it seems a little late to be making significant changes. That sounds like the commentators may be talking out of their ass a little bit.
Who can say?
The internet could say. I'm going to find out.
You might remember that last race, Harrison Newey came into the pits and then caught fire. Lap 43, Harrison Newey comes into the pit and catches fire again.
Nice.
This time, though, they get it put out and get him driving again without him even getting out of the car. So, not as catastrophic as last time. But
Let me chime in.
Go ahead.
I want to tell you guys about the Coca-Cola 500 at Motegi.
Huh.
Motegi has an oval course. And so, November 22nd, 1998, the NASCAR Winston Cup, which is like the highest tier, did a race in Japan at Motegi. That's what it was.
Huh.
Okay. Fuji was originally intended to be a NASCAR track, so they're right there. It was designed to be a 2.5 mile long high banked super speedway, but there was not enough money to complete the project, and thus only one of the bankings was ever designed. It wasn't that it was built. It seems like one of the banked corners was designed, and they were like, fuck.
The road course it is.
Road course it is, yeah.
Interesting.
So I'll give the commentators some credit there. They get a 75 on their test.
Towards the end of this race, the cars are starting to bunch up and deliver some late fights, which is exciting. Lap 44, Sakaguchi pits from P3. He's the first of the front runners to pit and turns out to be the only one. He just gets fuel and comes back out. And he comes out alongside Kamui Kobayashi, who is able to get past him, as I assume probably his tires are a bit cold from coming into the pits, even though he didn't change them out, but still just stopping for a little bit has cooled him down.
So back in 8th then, roughly 8th or 9th?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so Sakaguchi is now P8, which puts Kobayashi P7, Cassidy P3, and Kaz Nakajima is P6. Worth noting also here, another thing the commentators brought up that I hadn't thought about, the Olympics are in Japan next year in the summer.
They sure are.
And that really fucks up the whole racing schedule.
Fuck you.
So there's just going to be a 3-month break of Japanese racing.
Really? Why?
Yeah. It's the Olympics, dog.
But why does that interfere with the racing? Are they using the tracks for the runners?
They're using Fuji.
For what?
I don't know, running or something.
Interesting.
Cycling, maybe? I think
The Olympics are
cycling.
lame. Who cares?
The Olympics are lame.com. Do we still own that one?
No.
No.
Damn.
All right. The Olympics are lame.com. We don't own it because it's not true.
Fuck
No,
you.
we don't own it because we don't want to spend the money.
Piece of shit. The Olympics suck.
I like the Olympics.
Garbage.
Devin's out there starving to death in New York City, okay? They ain't got no picante sauce. We can't be spending money on URLs anymore. You get Corvette parts to buy.
Frivolous purchases to make.
What are you buying?
Stuff.
Skateboards.
What Corvette parts you buy? Let's finish this race before I ask what Corvette parts you're buying. So with 10 minutes left in the race, Kaz Nakajima gets past Ishiura for P5 and then immediately starts attacking Nojiri for P4. And then with 5 minutes left, Kaz goes wide and Ishiura gets back past him and he loses that spot and is going to have to settle for P5. Oh, no, sorry. I misread my own notes. So, Kaz goes wide, Ishiura gets back past him, and then later that lap, Kaz gets past Ishiura again and gets P5 back. And then with 2.5 minutes to go, Kobayashi catches up to them and gets Ishiura as well. The last few laps, Cassidy was trying to fight with Shotsu Boy to get P2, but couldn't get past him and has to settle for P3. So, P1, Pelu, P2, Shotsu Boy, Nick Cassidy P3, Kaz Nakajima P5, Kobayashi P6, Sekaguchi P8, Naoki Yamamoto made it back up to P9 where he started, no points though, and then Patricio O'Ward finishing P14. So, not great, but he made up 6 places, which I'm going to call is pretty good for his first Super Formula race.
I've got some fun facts about Fuji International Speedway.
Hit me.
Turn 1 is called First. Turn 2 doesn't have a name. Turn 3 is called Coca-Cola. Turn 4 is 100R. Turn 5 gets no name. 6 is Hairpin. 7 and 8 have no name. 9 is 300R. 10 is Dunlop. 11 and 12 get no name. 13 is 13th. 14 no name. 15 Nets. And 16 is Panasonic.
Beautiful.
Your hashtag brands out there on your track.
Another fun thing to mention here is that Alex Pelu called his win on Twitter at the beginning of the week before he won this race. Just like tweeted, yeah, I'm going to go get the free sake this weekend. And he did it. So good for him. I like him. He is another young junior that has been doing pretty good this year, and we might see him show up in Formula One.
Maybe.
I don't know what brands he has ties to, if any, but he seems pretty good. So in the championship now, Naoki Yamamoto with no points here, but still P1 in the championship with 27. Nick Cassidy P2 with 22. Alex Pelu P3 with 14. Then Shotsu Boy with 12. And then a 3-way tie for 5th between Sekaguchi, Kobayashi, and Yamashita, all with 11. So 5 points in it between Yamamoto and Cassidy, and then 8 points down to Pelu, and then between Pelu in 3rd and Yamashita tied for 5th, just 3 points. So there's 5 guys within 3 points there that could all end up theoretically P3. And yeah, worth noting that Naoki Yamamoto just beat Cassidy by a single point in Super Formula last year. So every point matters, really, in this series because there's only 7 races. He also beat him by a single point in Super GT last year. Sad.
Ouch.
Sad stuff for Cassidy last year. But yeah, so that was Super Formula. Another great race. The rain actually made things more exciting this time, which I want to say that the first couple races of the season were made a little bit less enjoyable by the rain. Like that first Super GT race that got canceled halfway through because it was raining so hard. But yeah, Super Formula. It's still good.
I hear it's good.
I hear it's still good.
You know what else is good sometimes? Formula One.
No way.
Sometimes.
We're at the German Grand Prix this weekend in Hockenheim in Baden-Württemberg, Germany.
You've been waiting a whole year to say that.
I have. Last year it was a wet race. This year it is not going to be a wet race. There's a 20% chance of rain on Sunday. Some things about this race. Let's see. Mercedes has developed a new chassis. It may or may not be at this race. Probably not. But that's bad news for Ferrari and Red Bull. Red Bull has developed a new aero package, I believe. I don't think it'll be at this. It may be at this race, but it should be closing the gap to Mercedes as well. So Red Bull may come around for P2 in the championship this season if this pans out for them. Let's see. Mercedes has got a special livery this weekend.
Hell yeah.
I've only seen the previews of it. I'm looking forward to seeing what it actually looks like because they've been pretty rote for the last ever.
I feel like this year's is the best looking livery they've
I
ever
agree,
had,
but it's very
still,
in line with what they've done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
and
Like it's
the teaser they put out today as we record. Looks like the car is going to be white mostly.
Yeah, if I could describe it in a word, it would be, or in a brief sentence, it would be that Jazz Cup design from the 90s.
I was also going to say that cup from the 90s.
You know, the white cup with the teal with the purple swoosh that goes through it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But instead of purple, it's silver.
So what I've heard speculated is that the car is going to be either white at the front or white at the back, one of the two, and it's going to be kind of have like this transition because Mercedes removed their paint from their car, and that's how they became the silver arrows to get rid of weight. So this is their 125th? That doesn't sound right.
I have no idea.
Beats me.
It's a large number of years in racing, but 125 sounds like too many years for cars to have existed.
125 is the number that they have attached to all of their
I
social
think
media.
automobiles have existed for 125 years.
You think
Just
so?
barely. Barely.
When did the Model T come out?
Yep.
The Model T wasn't the first car.
I know, but like you think of it as kind of like the first
1912.
like brand car. That's
July 22nd, 1894, the first competitive motor car race from Paris to Rouen is won by a Daimler engineered Peugeot.
okay. Well, there you go. Apparently,
1894.
apparently that's that. So, looking forward to see what that looks like. Also, looking forward to see what the Haas car looks like. Devin thinks it'll look the same. I think it'll look different.
And by the time you're hearing this, you'll
You'll
know.
already know.
I think I'm with Jeff on this one.
Grosjean's still running the Australia spec package.
Grosjean going to lose his job.
K-Mag got the updated aero. Again, more updated to his aero, so we'll see which one of those two cars performs better.
I have trouble believing that William Story actually has any power. Like, I feel like he has their Twitter account, but not actual control of that company.
What does that have
Then
to do
that
with
company
anything?
would be releasing statements, like calling press meetings.
I mean,
well,
they kind of have put out some stuff with Haas to be like, oh, no, we're still doing this. This is still us. We're good.
no, I don't agree with that statement.
I mean, you mentioned it last week as something that had happened.
I don't know. This whole
Something-
shit is still wild.
Yep. We'll see.
I don't want to dwell on it too much because I don't want to give it airtime. Like,
Yeah. I had something. Now I've lost it.
Was it what time the race is?
Williams also is bringing an upgrade that Kubica says he is excited to drive. He hopes that it drives as well as the car did in Silverstone, and if it does, it should be fun.
neat.
The qualifying is on Saturday. I'm bad at the days. Today is July the 23rd, so that makes Saturday beat July the 27th. At 8 a.m. Central Time, the race is at 8:10 a.m. Central Time on Sunday, July the 28th.
I'm probably going to be asleep.
I'm not, because it's 9 a.m. where I'm at.
You just wake up, man.
Yo, dog, I'm going to Grid Life this weekend.
Oh, it's going to be
you-
like 7 a.m.
You living that grid life, dog?
I am going to be living that Grid Life, but no, I'm going to be like probably up
Making
super
poor
late
decisions.
Saturday night. And then I have to get up and like leave Colorado by noon to get home so I can go to work.
Oof, that's a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Grid Life though.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be the sweetest.
And you lose an hour on the way back, so it's like even worse.
Oh,
You leave at noon.
Yeah, you're right.
Takes 10 hours. You get back at 11 p.m. Best case scenario.
Oh fuck! I haven't done that math yet. Shit.
You're welcome. This math is just in my mind all the time.
There's F1 this weekend.
Yeah.
We were talking about it.
20% chance of rain. Let's hope that goes up by the time the weekend arrives.
It won't.
The chance of rain is only on Sunday, so
That's kind of for the best. I'm not a huge fan of wet qualifying.
I am. It shakes things up. Cars are out of position all over the place.
A little.
Like
I
remember
like a wet
yeah.
race.
Monza 2 years ago?
But I think wet
Good.
race is a lot more
I like a
interesting
wet race,
than wet
not
qualifying.
a wet qualifying.
I like both. ¿Por qué no los dos?
I don't speak
Excuse
Spanish,
me?
dog.
To quote the taco company. Why should we pick between crunchy tacos and soft tacos when you can just have both?
You mean like a cheesy gordita crunch?
No. Get out of here with your brands. It's my brand.
Oh God! By the way, have you guys seen the
Nacho
KFC
fries?
sandwich that just they put a bunch of fucking Cheetos on it?
I forgot about that. You know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow?
I keep hearing that, and
Like-
it just doesn't sound good.
No, it sounds
I don't like-
disgusting. It
I
sounds
don't
so
like
fucking
Cheetos.
terrible.
You don't like Cheetos?
I like Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
But also,
occasionally.
it sounds like something you could easily just buy a bag of Cheetos and make yourself. Like,
Yeah, but you could. I was like right next to a KFC today.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
At GameStop.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
do you-
was too.
What are you selling your copy of Skyrim?
Fucking
Yes.
$4?
looking for
Less that?
a used copy for less than $10.
Physical media.
It's a bunch of bullshit. But yeah, F1. I'll try to maybe watch it on the way back. But
I'm looking forward to it.
it's going to be a rough couple days.
I missed my F1 last weekend after being spoiled by 2 races in a row. 2 good races in a row. Let's hope for another good race.
It'll be good. Sebastian
I
Vettel will
agree.
qualify on pole and then lead the race and then crash all by himself.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that will happen. I am curious to go back and see like how the teams were doing last year because I don't remember much about that race for some reason. The only that is Sebastian crashing out is the only thing that I remember.
That's the only thing I remember about that race, and really last season.
Was that the race where it was like they were yelling at Lewis like in? Or was that this year's season?
I think that was this year.
Okay. Who knows?
I think that was last year because I think Kimi was with Ferrari still. Like, I think I remember seeing Lewis ahead from Kimi's Ferrari behind him on the onboard. But I might have...
That was last
The
year.
bad
Devin's
memory.
right.
Yay.
Yeah, that was last year. I don't remember what race though. I don't think
We
it was
got-
Germany.
We got 2 races left until the summer break. Is there 3? Is Sochi before or after the summer break?
It's
I
a
think
great
it's
question.
After.
I know we got this, and we have Belgium for sure. Is there a third in there?
Wait, didn't we already go to Russia?
No.
Russia's a long ways off, actually. We've got Germany this weekend, Hungary next weekend, and then we get a month off, and then Spa.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Spa's the first race after the
Yeah.
summer break.
I don't know why I called Hungary Belgium. That was not right.
You called it Sochi.
No. I asked if Sochi was before or after the break. I knew
What's
that
after
was
Spa?
Russia.
After Spa is Monza,
Yeah.
and,
And
then,
then
Singapore, and then Russia.
and
other news in F1. The
Then
Dutch
Mexico.
the Dutch Grand Prix for next year? Is it next year or 2020?
Zandvoort.
So yeah, it's Circuit Zandvoort.
2020.
Oh god, that is next year.
That's
Ugh.
next year, dog.
Anyway, they sold out of all their tickets in like an absurd amount of.
They already went on sale?
They didn't even go on sale. It was everyone can submit their interest in tickets between like these 5 business days, and then we'll let you know if you get to purchase them. and like that filled up way before the end of it, and there's a lot of upset.
I mean, that's
Dutch
pretty
people.
common for new races. Like,
Yeah, it's just the Dutch people are like fucking insane about this stuff.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of things in the future, 2021 regulations I'm hearing more and more discussions about a ground effect arrow.
yep. So cars can follow each other.
And fly off the track when it goes away.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. There was a handful more renders out there of what rule makers and artists' interpretations of rule makers' impressions of what the cars would look like, which is, I'm going to go ahead and say, not what the cars are going to end up looking like.
Yeah, team engineers have already said, no, they're not going to look like that.
Yeah, the team engineers will be like, yeah, but they forgot about like all this thing that they didn't define that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to hearing more about the 2021 regs. Will a Haas driver change during summer break?
Yes.
Okay. Devin?
I don't know.
Who do they get to replace him?
Ocon.
You think so?
I don't know. That's weird for me
Do you
because like
think
he's
Ocon will want to make the jump?
No. But I don't think they drop Bottas. So, Mercedes.
Right.
like
So,
I-
Ocon won't really have a choice if he wants to race in F1.
yeah. I think if he wants to race in F1, he takes any opportunity he gets. But I don't know. I feel like Ocon is the obvious choice for what driver gets put in a car. But I just would expect to see him get put in a Mercedes car.
McLaren came out recently and said, if Alonso wants to go back to F1 in another team, we won't stop him. It's cool with us.
I really doubt it.
I still keep hearing people saying that Alonso in that seat makes sense.
It doesn't make any
Haas?
sense.
Yeah.
No way.
How?
Like, why would he come back to join a losing team?
Because he misses it. He just wants to complain to people. Because Haas will get him that IndyCar seat. A good IndyCar seat.
Does Haas have Indy cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuart Haas has...
Well, wait. Do they?
Oh, is it a different Haas?
No, it is. There's. Oh, you're thinking of Newman Haas.
Is it a different Haas?
Newman Haas is a different Haas. Stuart Haas is the
Stuart
same
Haas is Haas.
Which one is which? Which one's in Indy car?
Stuart Haas is NASCAR. So Gene Haas is like NASCAR.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Newman Haas is correct, and I think that's the IndyCar one. No relation to Gene.
Yeah, I can't see Alonso doing it. Because why would he come back to join a team that, I mean, let's be real here, is never going to win a championship. Constructors or otherwise.
Yeah, that's pretty unlikely.
But Esteban Ocon wants to race in F1 instead of just standing around the Mercedes garage. And he wants Bottas a seat, obviously, but I don't think that they're going to drop Bottas.
No, they're
What
not gonna
if-
drop Bottas?
Lewis is 5-time champ currently, right?
Yes.
What if Lewis does this season, next season, wins the championship both times, and then stops at 7, and then
Why would he-
Ocon takes Lewis's seat?
Why would Lewis stop at 7?
Lewis will go to 8.
Doesn't Schumacher have 9?
Schumacher
he's got
has 7.
Oh, okay. I thought he had 9 for some reason.
Lewis
Yeah.
wouldn't stop at 7.
I don't think Lewis is stopping until he beats Schumacher's record, or he can't beat Schumacher's record.
Yes.
Whichever one of the two comes first.
We'll see how 2021 pans out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for putting out a what if.
It was a bad one. It's as bad as my Alonso what if.
Yes.
I'd say that's way worse.
I hope you guys are so fucking wrong. I'll just fucking rub it in your faces. Alonso comes back after the summer break.
I really doubt it.
God, if we're wrong, I'm gonna be so upset. That'll be so sad for him. I can't imagine the only thing sadder would be if he took a fucking seat at Williams.
It would be like a mind blown. Like, is this real life? Like, it's like waking up to see like Russell Westbrook's traded. Like, it's like there's no way that this is real.
I got bad news if you've
Yeah, that's
Not-
real also. I know.
I don't really. I don't know shit about basketball, but I do know that that's it for this episode of the Radial Podcast. Catch us next week, same time, same podcast
Place.
catching application.
Yeah.
Come find me at Grid Life.
Go find Austin at Grid Life. He'll have the sunburnt knees
I got them sunburnt knees.
with a tan line that stops right above the kneecap.
Bet.
Look for him in the camper.
Bet.
He'll rent you a room.
Nope.
It's very luxurious. It's spacious.
Nope. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.